everyone, welcome back to my channel, So Little Time, and my name is Karen. I'm here today to show you my September makes, and I've had quite a productive month. I've got 6 items of clothing that I've made, but actually only 5 that I can show you, and that's because I was pattern testing for Crafty So and So in Leicester for their pattern line, My Handmade Wardrobe. So I can't give you too many details about that pattern at the moment, but it is going to be launching really soon. So I think on Sarah's Instagram account, on the Crafty So and So Instagram account, I think she's actually put a snippet of a picture on there of what possibly the front of the pattern will look like. So if you wanted to just have a sneak peek, check that out. But I will show you the fabric that I used to make the item. And that did take up quite a lot of my time during September. As you know, I only can sew in the evenings. So that took up quite a few evenings. So I have managed to get quite a bit done, but one item of clothing I've literally just kind of finished, but I'm not happy with it. So I need to make alterations, and I'll talk to you a bit about that a bit later. So the first item I'll talk to you about is what I'm wearing, and this is the Ogden Cami by True Bias, and I think I showed you this on a previous vlog where it was all cut out, and I cut out a size 6, so I wanted to err on the side of caution to make sure that it was going to fit, and I made it all up and French seamed it and everything, and then it was way too big for me. So luckily what I'd done is use the PDF pattern, so I was able to just cut down to the smaller size rather than retracing the whole pattern again. So that is one thing I do like about PDF patterns, is sometimes you can just recut around the original cutting that you've done if the pattern hasn't been overlapped too much. So I ended up taking it all apart, because when I tried to just take in the side seams, it just wasn't like fitting right. So I ended up unpicking all of the French seams that I'd done and then recutting it as a size 4 instead of the 6, and that perfectly worked out fine, and fits me a lot better. But I have lengthened the pattern. I think I lengthened it by about 2 inches, because when I've made a previous one, the one that didn't fit, it was way too short. So this is how I've done it. So this is the Lady McElroy fabric, cotton lawn I think it is, that I bought from Crafty So and So in Leicester, and I only bought 1 metre, so it fits perfectly on that size of fabric. I'll stand back so I can show you in full, so hopefully you can see that it is slightly longer, but I'm 5'5", so just bear that in mind. And I had, when I made the size 6, I had loads of excess at the back, and I know probably that was due to the lengthening of the pattern, and I probably have still got a little bit of excess there, but it fits a lot better, and you know I like my clothes to be a bit longer, but it fits beautifully around my bust area, and the straps are nice, and it's a really lovely fabric to work with. It's sewed up really well, it irons really well, and it's just really nice to wear. So I really recommend Lady McElroy Cotton Lawn. Yeah, and I'm really pleased with this. I think the only change I'd make if I was to make it again is to maybe lengthen the facing on the inside, or whatever the lining is called, just to bring it down slightly, because it's kind of finishes here, and I think if you had a shearer fabric, or maybe one that was a little bit more see-through, like a white one or something like that, then you'd see that line, and I know a few people have mentioned that as well. So I think might just lengthen that slightly, just to bring it maybe down to here, or even full length, I don't know, because the one that I've got ready to wear top from Tesco's, that actually is fully lined, and that looks quite nice, so it is something that I might do. But it came together really well. The straps are a bit of a fiddle to get them through, and making sure you haven't twisted them, but once you've done it once, you get the knack, and then you know what you're doing. But I have French seamed all this as well, so that looks really clean on the inside of that. So yeah, really pleased with this one. So on to my next pattern. Okay, so the next pattern that I made was the Oliver and S Field Trip Raglan t-shirt for my twins, and I made obviously one for each of them. And the fabric that I used was from Guthrie and Garney, and I'll show you the first one, which is this tractor fabric that I used. And then I ended up doing long sleeves for it instead of short sleeves, like I said. The pattern is actually long sleeves, and I'm pretty sure you can just make the alteration to make it short sleeves really easily, but I decided as we're coming into autumn, winter, it's more beneficial for them to have a long sleeve, and they've got loads of t-shirts as well. So for this grey fabric on the reverse, as I showed you before, it's this green fabric on the reverse side of the grey. So I use that for the neckband and also for the end of the cuffs. And actually on this pattern it doesn't come with cuffs on this one, but I decided to add it because I cut out the size age 2. They are 2.5 just over, so and one of my twins is on the slighter side, so I thought I'd do that, and I did measure him, but in the end it was a little bit too short, so I ended up adding a waistband section on it, and actually I really like the way it's turned out, and it's more sweatshirty than it is a t-shirt now, but it fits really well, and yeah, I really like that effect on it. So like I say, I did the green on the neckband and on the cuffs, but I just went with the grey on the bottom because I didn't want it to be too much. And I think with this green fabric, because it's obviously supposed to be on the inside, it's it does get a bit more grubby quickly because it's more, I don't know, rough. So that's one thing to bear in mind if you do ever use that kind of fabric. And then for my other twin, I used the space fabric, and I went with the grey sleeves, and I just did the green cuffs and neckband on his as well, and then also did a waistband at the bottom on that one. For some reason I cut that one smaller. I don't really know what happened. I think I was just a bit tired one evening, and yeah, just cut it a bit smaller than it should be. So they're the size 2, but then I did have to lengthen it slightly with those bands, so that's something to take into consideration if you're making it. But yeah, really pleased with how that turned out. Really quick sew. Did both of them in one evening, and they fit really nicely now, and they both really like them. So yeah, pleased with those. So I'll now show you my next pattern. Okay, so my next make is the Stevie dress by Tilly and the Buttons, and if you follow me on Instagram, then you would have already seen this in my pictures on there, and also any of the other makes that I've done. So I'll stand back and show you this. The standard shape is quite boxy, and so I decided to go with a size 3 because I usually go with a size 4 with Tilly's patterns, but thought with a 3 on this particular one I probably would be okay to get away with it because it was quite a lot of give in the dress because it's quite boxy. So I did go with the size 3 and that fitted fine. However, I did find that there was a lot of excess fabric again around my sort of back area. I think I might have a slight sway back, I think. And yeah, it just was way too big, and it just looked like a sack on me. As my waist is a lot smaller than my hips, I do find that with a lot of patterns and even ready-to-wear clothing, that if I buy it to fit my hips, it's always way too big around my waist, and this is the problem I have with jeans and things like that. So yeah, I ended up taking the side seams in, and I just turned the dress inside out and then just drew a line and just kind of freehand drew it as to what I thought it should be brought in by, and then just left the hip area as it was. So I did take off quite a bit on each side, but I'm really happy with the shape that I've created on this silhouette, and I've made the changes to the pattern, so if I make it again it's going to be a really quick make, and this is a quick make, so it's really suitable for beginners. And I went with the tie back as I really like that. So I'll stand back and show you, and you'll see that now it is a bit more A-line, as I do quite like my dresses to be like that because of my larger hips. Yeah, so I just streamlined it in literally from, I think actually from right under the arms all the way down to probably about there, and then I just left that as it was, so it's just created that, whereas before it was kind of, I don't know, really big, but I had loads of excess at the back, and that is completely gone now, and it's really comfortable. I'm really happy with the fabric that I decided to use for it as well. So I got this one from John Lewis in their sale last year, I'm not sure what fabric it is, but do you remember I said it got a slight, I don't know, there's a little rivety, I don't know, I can't describe it. Yeah, but I thought actually it was going to be a lot more of a stable fabric than it is, and to hold the shape of the boxy shape, but in actual fact it's a lot softer, and as I've worn it, it's even like become more soft, and I don't mind that actually. I think drapey fabrics will work quite well with this pattern, because I know Shona from Satisfaction, she prefers the drapier fabrics for this pattern on her body shape. But I'm really, really pleased with this, and I have worn it such a lot, and I've worn it on nights out. I've just put, you know, low heels on with it, or sandals and things, and it just, you can take it out dressy, or you can have it as daytime wear. So I'm really pleased with it, and I think you can make loads of different versions with all sorts of fabric and stuff. So this is definitely a wardrobe staple, and I will be repeating it for sure. Yeah, so really pleased with that one. Okay, so on to my final make for myself that isn't completed, and it's the Carnaby dress. Now I've sewn it up to the point where it just needs hemming at the bottom, but I have fit issues with this, so I've not finished it, and I decided not to rush and finish it for this vlog, because I thought it might be interesting for you to see this on me now as it is, and then I'm going to make the changes during October, and then show it at the end of October as part of my October makes, because I just don't want to rush it, because I know I'm going to have to unpick basically all the side seams, and I did an all-in-one facing because I decided to not put the zip in the back, and for that reason I know a lot of people have said they can just get this dress over their head quite easily, so I decided to do that, and I can, and I think even when I take it in, it will, I'll still be able to do that, but that meant that I did have to do an all-in-one facing, and to put that in so all the seams are clean, you have to do a burrito method. And if anybody is interested in seeing that, I don't mind, because I will be making this dress again in the future. If anybody wants to see how to do that, then I'm quite happy to do like a tutorial or a little bit of a sew along for this dress. Yeah, so because I cut it on the fold at the back, it did mean that I had to take, I think it was 3 centimetres off the, 1.5 centimetres off the pattern piece. That was due to the fact that obviously there wasn't going to be any seam allowance needed. So overall 3 centimetres has gone off the back of that. And then I did make the adjustment for that, and then the skirt at the bottom didn't fit, and I'm thinking, why didn't that fit? Because even if I had put the zip in, I still would have had the seam allowance with the zip there, so basically the skirt should have fitted at the bottom, but it didn't. So I ended up taking I think it was 2 centimetres either side of the back skirt section to fit the bottom of the bodice at the back. So that obviously now means that the skirt section is a bit tighter than it should be. So I think even though it fits okay, I want that to be looser, so I'm going to have to let that out now. So I think next time, even to not just have the zip put in, I'm going to probably just put a back seam in, and you know, just see if that makes a difference. But I didn't want to put a back seam in when I thought it might not be necessary. But yeah, I really like the dress. I don't know if I like this fabric in it actually. I don't know. I think once it fits, I'll be able to make that decision. But yeah, in the end, I didn't have enough fabric to do the same colour facing, so I've used a blue and then on the front a pink. So this is definitely going to be a wearable toile. So I'll pop this on anyway so you can see, and then I'll be able to show you where I have the fit issues. Okay, so I've got it on, and my first issue is basically this is way too big around here. I've got a massive gape around the underarms, and I also find that the shoulders are just too wide. I don't like where they sit. So I prefer that if that was a bit more in like that, if you see. So I want to take the armholes in, and then I'll stand back so you can see that the this bit here needs bringing in a bit more like that, so I want to do that because I've got loads of excess here at the back. So I've put the pockets in. I haven't hemmed it, so the bottom does fit okay, but I would prefer it if it was a little bit more giving on there. I can sit down in it absolutely fine and move around and stuff. But yeah, I just think when I look at pictures of people who have actually made it, that it just sits a bit further away from their body than what mine is. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have to take it in here for sure. So I think probably what I could have done with doing is grading the pattern and doing a size 10 and then grading out to a 12 at the bottom. But because the bodice and the skirt is in two parts on the pattern, it's not that easy to grade. So I'm going to have a rethink and see how I'm going to do it. So I am going to take some time to unpick this and get it to how I want it. But the length I find is fine, but it's just, yeah, the actual fit of it isn't quite right. So it's basically way too big for me on the top area for sure. And the bottom is a little bit snugger than I'd like because I've obviously taken those 4 centimetres off to get the skirt bit to fit. The front bit fitted fine, obviously I didn't make any alterations to that, so that's why. So yeah, so watch this space. Next month, fingers crossed, I'll be able to come back to you with this dress fitting nicely. And also I think it would have been quite nice if I'd have put some piping in across where the skirt is, because it's quite a busy print and I think you can't see the pockets. So yeah, that's something that I might consider on a future one and stuff. So I'll now just show you the fabric that I used for the pattern test for the My Handmade Wardrobe pattern. And then that'll be it for this vlog, and then I'll come back with my October plans. Okay, so here is the fabric that I used for the pattern, and it's quite bold, but I really like it. I really wanted something quite in your face and bright. I can't really give you too much information because nothing has been released at all, and there's hardly any sneak peeks anywhere. Even with the other pattern testers, they've not put anything on their news feed or anything like that on Instagram. So but I got this fabric from where did I get it from? Material Magic in Leicester, and it's the Odeon Arcade in Leicester, which is right next to the outdoor market, and they've got stacks of fabric in there. So this is just a standard cotton, and it was really easy to work with, came together really well, and the pattern that I used it for was also an amazing pattern. It came together perfectly, I had no issues with it. I think I'll just size down on my next one. That's the only alteration that I would do. So obviously I can't give you too much information, but it is, I promise you, it's a really good pattern. So keep your eyes peeled for that coming out very soon. So that's it for today. So like I say, I'll be back with another vlog in the next few days for my October plans. So I've got a few that I'd like to get sorted alongside that Carnaby dress. So watch this space and I shall see you soon. So thanks for tuning in and watching. And if you enjoyed this vlog, please do give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to subscribe and receive notifications on future videos, then tick that little bell to receive that on email. Okay, thanks very much. See you next time. Bye.